SuperFluous Media presents Meet Your Heroes, a SuperFluous News podcast. Episode 2, Rat King.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night for everybody tuning in. This is the SuperFluous News Network's Meet Your Heroes show. This is episode number 2. This is your co-host, Whitaker Witheredspoon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Unfortunately, my co-host, who I've worked with for a long time and love to death, is coming off of a little bit of a, what we might call, experience. So we're going to let him take a nap today. I'm just going to sit here with my wonderful guest.
Pleased to meet you. I'm the Rat King.
The Rat King. Can you tell me a little bit about that name? I really like it.
Well, as you can see from my appearance immediately, I'm not exactly what you would call completely human. I'm a walking, talking humanoid rat hybrid. I'm the Rat King because my powers and abilities are connected to the rodents of the city, the rats.
And would you say, when it comes to the way in which you fight crime and the forces of evil, do you utilize your rat-like personal abilities or your rat-like tendencies, or do you use yourself to fight crime more, or the rats themselves?
So, it depends on the situation. So, my powers are diverse. In addition to controlling rats, I can also see through them. I can project my consciousness into their eyes, blinding myself in the process. It's like I can see through them. They become cameras for me up to a certain distance. And I can command them as well. I can command several rats in one go to attack my prey, my enemies. They can crawl all over them, delivering superficial or not so superficial bite marks. So I use the rats to fight. Sometimes I use myself. I'm pretty slick. I'm pretty quick. This body that I have, the transformation that made me who I am, has given me fast reflexes. I can crawl on walls. I can crawl on the floor real fast too. I'm pretty strong. Got a thick skin, thick hide. So yeah, I know a couple of moves. I've been trained as well. I was trained to fight. So I learned a bit of judo, a bit of boxing. I learned how I have a mentor who I occasionally partner up with in the city in New York, and he's taught me a few moves to defend myself. So it's a combination of the rats and my own mitts, my own fists, if you call them that.
So I'm very interested in talking about your training. I want to get into that, but something you said immediately, is giving me all these questions. I'm sure the audience does too. What is it like to experience being within the consciousness and the body of a rat itself?
It's a weird one. I never get fully used to it, to be honest with you, but it pretty much feels like dreaming, but lucid dreaming. And you can feel everything as a rat. I project my consciousness into the rat. And while I do that, my body is helpless. It's defenseless. It's alive, but it's effectively brain dead. So if I stay out of my body for too long, I don't know what might happen. Probably might die or something. The longest I've stayed outside my own body was about 25 minutes, give or take. I felt fine when I went back in. I was a bit tired, so probably it's very strenuous if I stay for a really long time. But I would say, to answer your question, it's like lucid dreaming,
Very freaking cool. Okay, and within those 25 minutes, the longest you were a rat, what did you experience? Was this a memorable rat inception, if you will? Like, what went through your, what experience were you having as a rat during these 25 minutes?
It was an infiltration. I wasn't relaxing. I was crawling through the vents of an illicit laboratory, Hades Labs. Yeah, Hades Labs.
They're a big one.
Yes, they're pretty big in New York. Professor Harold
von Gutenberg.
That's right. That's the one. Harold von Gutenberg. He's got a Greek heritage, but his mother married German. But he's originally Greek. That's his name. And, he has this thing about Greek mythology. So he called it Hades Labs because they like to go deep or like into the underworld. And, they experiment with like underworld kind of stuff. He does it as a sort of tongue-in-cheek, but what they don't realize is that this guy, I think he's messing with the supernatural. And he's really messing with the underworld. He's one of the people I got to deal with sometimes, Yeah, Professor Harold von Gutenberg. He's, or Hades, as he sometimes calls himself. Yeah.
Would you consider this guy your biggest problem right now? I mean, do you have small-time crime that you focus on, or is this really your primary antagonist, so to speak, right now?
I occasionally butt heads with him maybe a couple of times a year, especially when he's dumping illegal toxic waste in the sewers. That's no good for the ecosystem, let me tell you that much. Especially when he encroaches on the neighborhoods and gentrifies them in the name of developing new factories and labs. Unfortunately, he's kind of the face of New York, so bit of a privatized guy, you know what I mean? Capitalism. But no, he's not the only guy I deal with. So the Dark Avenger, by the way, is my mentor. He taught me how to fight. He's a nice guy once you get to know him, but he goes a bit hard, Most of the people I fight are crooks. We got a few gangsters in my neighborhood, a few gang wars, and I try to protect the civilians of where I live. And I got a few. So we got the tarantula. He's a big one as well. I've also had to butt heads occasionally with Emerald Hawk.
No way.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
And it's tough. Let me tell you, crawling on walls ain't nothing when the guy flies up. I have to use my grappling gun.
Now the Black Avenger, the Avenger, he's gone up against them a couple times, right?
The Dark Avenger, yeah, he's gone up against them.
Yeah.
Yes, we've teamed up a couple of times, even against Professor Hades.
Is this why he started to train you? Because you had common enemies?
Yes. I took on heroism. I felt it felt like the right thing to do. I don't really remember anything much before that. I'm still trying to remember my past, and I'd like to learn a bit of meditation. I'm trying to get the mystic's attention, but she's really hard to get a hold of. But to answer your question, I was trying to break up a local big-time weapons deal in my neighborhood. And it turns out I was crashing somebody's party. Dark Avenger was there, and we had a bit of a tussle afterwards. Unfortunately, okay, our target, a local criminal known by the name of Deagle, he got away.
Deagle.
Yeah. He's a up and coming crime boss. But Deagle got away. Dark Avenger and we butted heads, but from that we formed a very strange friendship, and he trained me how to fight martial arts. And I'm in his eyes and ears around the city because he don't got my projection. He can't see what I see.
So. Would you call this more of a transactional relationship or more like a friendship between you two?
It's more like a formal partnership.
Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't get all touchy-feely with me.
Okay. So if we were referring to American mythology, you wouldn't really call this a Batman and Robin situation. More like say...
Spider-Man and the Punisher?
Right. Okay. Very interesting. And would you consider yourself the Punisher or the Spider-Man of this relationship?
Probably the Spider-Man. I would say more like the Daredevil and the Punisher, and I consider myself more like the Daredevil.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But it's been a good few years over here, It's been a good few years learning how to use my powers, learning to adapt to a new environment. It's okay.
Part of me thinks it's almost a blessing in disguise that you can't remember who you were. Because, I've spoken to many heroes, and there's always a level of trauma that they experience, whether they were born with their powers or not, whether they develop them. But it always affects them in a positive and negative way simultaneously. But it feels like almost your amnesia, if you will, kind of...
That's what it is. It is amnesia.
It just allows you to fully inhabit who you are now instead of being tortured by who you were.
Maybe I was meant for this kind of thing. Who knows? I get brief memories of a place. I know it was far away. It was very warm, very sunny. It was a sunny place. There was a lot of water. Might have been by the sea or a big river or an island or something. People spoke differently there. I remember there weren't so many buildings. It was smaller. Everything was smaller there. And I remember this voice. It's a woman's voice. It's probably my mother. And I can't make out what she said, but it wasn't in the accents around here, So it was a different country, I think.
Can you remind me the name of these laboratories that supervillain was? Hades?
Hades Labs.
What if, I'm just postulating here, trying to put the puzzle pieces together, what if you, in fact, were a Hades experiment?
Well, that's funny because I think I might be. I did wake up in one of the toxic waste barrels, surrounded by one of the toxic waste barrels, like seeing the Hades logo, the big yellow H over the black background. It reminds me. It's the first thing I remember seeing here in my new life. So it could have been. Maybe I bought plane tickets here on some kind of vacation. Something happened and I lost my way. I don't know. The Dark Avenger tells me he's a realist. He doesn't believe in any of this stuff. But I think maybe it happened for a reason,
Is it possible that your mentor himself might more know than he's leading on about who you are?
Ooh, that's a spicy one.
I don't want to accuse anybody. This is a, nationally syndicating talk show, but I'm just kind of postulating because you have a very interesting backstory, I must say.
Thank you. Thanks. He has one himself, but that's his story to tell.
Right.
As in, I don't even know what it is. He never told me. I've been working with him for about, I would say, probably 2.5 years now. I barely know a damn thing about him, but he's definitely been through something. But it's about me, not him. I don't know. I think I can trust him. I don't think he's hiding nothing.
These villains that you go up against, just like your mentor, I'm curious, do you have a more interpersonal relationship with them, or are you simply reacting and acting upon the more, let's say, events that they, let unfold throughout the city? Do you talk to these villains?
Well, I've tried to reason with the Emerald Hawk because I think he might be a result of the lab experiments too, but he's very mentally unstable. I mean, he's got wings growing out of his back, which is pretty okay for a hawk, but he's also got I don't know, he's got a bit of a bird brain, no pun intended there. So I think he's a little bit unstable, and I try to reason with him, but he ain't coming around. So
really,
yeah.
What'd you say to him?
Well, I told him that he clearly there's something he knows is wrong because I caught him investigating Hades Labs, and that's what I'm saying. I think it all leads back to Professor Hades.
And now I want to jump back to you inhabiting rats for a little bit. Can you communicate, have actual full-on conversation with other rats while you are inhabiting a rat?
So to speak. Yeah, kinda. I can sort of, my mental influence, control over rats, it extends with my consciousness. So I can't have conversations with them. They're very limited, they're still, it's instinct level intelligence. I can't, it's very base level stuff, but I can influence them and I can control them. Like I have been in a rat's body and I've led a swarm.
You've led a swarm, okay.
Oh yeah, I can control hundreds of rats at once. It's pretty cool. I can even dissolve into a swarm of rats.
You can your body can just form into a bunch of rats.
Yes.
That all act individually, yet like a school of fish.
It's kind of like I become the rats, and so long as one rat is alive, one of those rats is alive, I can always reform myself. And it is kind of like a hive mind school of fish kind of thing. They're not real rats.
Mm-hmm.
If they're separated, they will die. And I can only maintain it for a few minutes.
Do you feel pain the same way that us humans do?
When I dissolve?
Just in general, say one of these rats gets killed, but you're very much still around. Can you feel that?
Empathically, it hurts me.
Mm-hmm.
Empathically, it hurts me. Just like an eco-terrorist, whenever one of her plant minions is killed, because they're always connected to her, I feel it empathically. It's like you see a loved one die and you feel all that emotion all at once. It's crazy. It's crazy. I never get over it. I feel for these little rodents, these little scamps.
Now, is it, do you like it? You know, I do see on social media sometimes when you show up in memes, when you show up, on the gram, people like to call you a mutant. Now, some people use this in a negative light. Some people use it in a positive aspect. How do you feel about that term? And I mean, I've interviewed on our previous late night show, we interviewed a couple mutants. They were a bunch of turtles, a bunch of sisters that were turned into turtles actually during a lab experiment. How do you feel about, they have a very positive, it took them a while. They kind of had a lot of, I guess you would call it body dysmorphia, where they kind of wished they were just like everybody else. Now, because you don't really remember your past, they, started from turtles at the very beginning, from childhood. Do you feel the same way? Would you say you've experienced this body dysmorphia in the past?
I don't think as the Rat King, I don't think I have. I don't, with the amnesia and everything, it's like, this is all I know. I've always been this hybrid monster kind of creature. Monster, I use that term loosely. It was a bit hard at first, but, and a bit lonely, got used to that. Now, how do I feel about mutant? I don't know. I feel like I should be offended or bothered by it, but when I learned that there were other freaks out there, we're okay. I'm okay with that. I mean, we live in a very politically charged world. I mean, we got humans who all look, and you all look the same to me, and you'll find reasons to hate on each other for being different or feeling different. I think mutants are always, until you humans learn to get along with yourselves, with your own race, it's going to be hard to, and I mean you all as a human race, not different races. It's going to be hard for you to accept us. How do I feel about, I don't know. I feel kind of indifferent, resigned to my fate. I mean, I know one of the turtles, Rafaela, she's got a bit of a temper, but, she's a sweetheart once you get to know her. And we agree on this. She's got the dysmorphia, but in the same time, she's come to terms in a sense with the fact that this is what it is,
Now, on this topic, do you feel like your powers, all the things that you do, is it a sense of duty? Is it a sense of, almost, we were talking about Spider-Man before, and, his great line is, and you identified with Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. Do you feel like, hey, I don't know how I got these powers, I'm uncovering the mystery, but however so, just like you said, you kind of believe in this divine, purpose. Do you feel like you are obligated to stop these evildoers?
No, I'm doing it just because it feels like the right thing to do. I don't know what it is. I mean, the first time, it was a purse snatcher. I was rummaging through some garbage, just trying to get something to eat. And there was a purse snatcher. This woman was calling out, she was mugged and everything. And I don't know, it just felt right to return it to her. I mean, she was terrified of me and she ran like crazy. She shot herself and everything, but it hurt, but it felt like I did the right thing. So I guess it's just because it's the right thing to do.
Do you make money? Do you have a job? Do you get paid to do, I mean, actually, now that you think about it, were you the mutant that I saw on that billboard outside the highway in New Jersey?
Yeah, that was me.
It was.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. Yeah, what were you selling again? It was like you were selling Cheetos.
Yeah, cheese flavored Cheetos. Some guy on the street saw me, thought it was a Halloween costume. And he was an advertising agent and he signed me up. I mean, I don't make money, to answer your question. I live off the land. I live off New York. I'll get to that. That's an interesting question. I have a community of people who help me and who I help. The homeless. We have a little ghetto of our own, and that's my main hub. But this Cheeto thing, yes, it was approved by the king himself. That was the line. I don't take money, but I accepted some. As compensation, it was donations to the homeless shelter, that kind of thing. they had some good meals for quite a few months. I think it was pretty good, and we got some good renovations out of it. But I don't make money. I don't got no job. I make my own hours, and occasionally I team up. Most I get is equipment. That's the important stuff that I get. It's equipment. It's not money. So, for example, I got a police radio. I got a computer. Believe it or not, in my lair. That's right. It's a lair. I know cliche, but it's a lair in the sewers. Wi-Fi and everything works where I am, and it's how I stay in touch on a private server with the Dark Avenger. But yeah, I don't make money.
So what happens? The Dark Avenger messages you and says, "Hey, we got this cell over here doing something shady. We got to go back to Hades Labs." What's your process for fighting crime these days?
So I go on patrol. I project my consciousness to different rats around. I move around. I usually it's the Lower East Side. So around Middle East, Lower East Side, Midtown, that kind of area, close to Chinatown. Between there and the financial district. And I keep my ear to the ground, or my eyes and ears everywhere, my little helpers, projecting all over the place. And that's when I'm on patrol. Sometimes I keep my police scanner on me, my police radio, try to listen for any nearby activity. And occasionally, the Dark Avenger, he's my informant. I don't know where he gets his information from, though. He must have his own guys.
Interesting. Yeah, the secrecy between you two, I can respect it. You have to protect yourself, but it is very interesting, as he did teach you. However, I'm more curious again about really just getting to know what it's like to experience your powers. So how, you must, you remind me of the DC comics superhero Animal Man, who to a certain extent, he can project almost like his sonar throughout a certain surface area that he's in. And he could find animals and say, "Hey, I feel this bird over here. I'm going to take its power. I feel this rat over here. I'm going to take its power." How do you identify which rat? I mean, there's millions of rats in New York City. How do you identify which rat you want to inhabit?
Oh, I just feel the presence around me. I can detect them all. And it also extends to mice, by the way, including lab mice. That's something I wanted to say.
Okay.
They don't, thankfully, Hades Labs don't test on animals no more.
Really?
Thankfully. But how do I identify? So I just project, I can feel the presence of every rat, every beating heart, every personality, every single one of them. And to me, they're all individual people. I wish I could make you see that, but you guys, you see a rat, you're just filled with disgust. I know they're big and they eat everything and they get everywhere, but they got as much a right to live as everybody else. Most of the time, they're just afraid and hungry. But I just know. I'm just connected to them. I don't know what it is. Maybe I was human once. I think I used to be human. And that's why I have empathy. But maybe there was some rats involved with that toxic waste that I got mixed up in and I woke up in even. So it's something to do with that. Maybe it's something else. Maybe there's a real animal force. I know there's the animal shaman. He lives on the other side of the country. He's famous in Oregon and in California. Maybe I can reach out to him and maybe understand if there's some kind of rat force at work or something.
I kind of appreciate that you don't really have to think about it too much. It doesn't sound like, you try to uncover the mystery. You've just kind of surrendered and accepted to who you are.
It's all I know anymore, It's all I know.
Yeah, that's very telling. And hey, a question that I do like to ask everyone, and you do notice with some podcasters, they like to ask this right at the end, but I think it makes things really interesting if you ask in the middle. If you could tell the superhero appreciating audience that we have here, a wonderful audience, if you could tell them anything that you want them to know about you, about being a superhero, about the villains, just about the world, what would you say?
Oh, wow. You're putting me on the spot there.
Sure, yes, sir.
I think what I can tell friends at home, if you can do the right thing, you should do it. Listen to your gut. Be tolerant of each other as well. Be kind to each other. If you're not going to be, you know what I mean? Be kind to each other. It doesn't have to be, maybe not tolerant. Maybe tolerance a bit too formal, but be kind to each other. I'll say that much. And like, to me, you all look the same, I swear. Like, you don't need to be so divided. It's laughable, you know? I mean, I might be a freak of nature, but you guys, because somebody's skin is a certain way, or somebody, if feels a certain way, it's nothing. It's really nothing. You guys are all the same. You are, the only race is the human race, you know? Not to sound so preachy, but I'll say that. So be kind to each other. It's that simple. Super cliche, I know, for a rat, you know, for a crime-fighting rat hybrid who lives in the sewers. But it's true. Be kind to each other. You never know, man, when you need each other for help. And the humans can accomplish great things if you just work together.
Man, I am so curious to know what would happen if you stayed a rat for a certain period of time. Why do you feel like something bad would happen?
I don't know if something bad would happen, but it gets very tiring. It's strenuous. So probably if I really pushed it, it might be like how it is, you know, in the movie. I might get a brain aneurysm or something. You know how they do all the nosebleed stuff when they telekinetics push themselves. I know it might affect my brain. I might forget that I'm sentient. You know, I don't know.
Have you interacted with any of the telekinetics that work in New York City? Some of them are really nice people.
Yeah, some of them can be really uplifting. No, I haven't had a chance. They're a bit above my level.
Why would you call it that?
No, I don't know. They've been too busy fighting bigger foes, you know, the ones who I couldn't hope to fight. They're more like the real superpower types, you know?
So there's some crime out there that you see. There's some villains there that you wish you were capable of fighting without being destroyed. Is that correct?
Yeah. Some of them are really tough, you know? For example, there's
Dairyman? Oh, man.
There's Dairyman, yeah, with his lactokinesis ability.
Yes. Yeah, that's fucked up.
There's Dairyman, that's terrifying. That's terrifying.
If
you're lactose intolerant, you're immune, but it's still. There's Dairyman and Dairy Queen.
When they got married,
it was
I felt bad for you superheroes.
Dairy
man.
King.
Like,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that is a royal wedding of clownery for sure. Now, do you find on that topic?
There's other characters as well. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's all right, please.
But then there's also, for example, there's Maleficent. She called herself that after the Disney villainess. Literally, she's an evil, the evil sorceress. Can't do nothing to her. She's tough. She's above my pay grade. You gonna ask me a question?
Well, I'm more interested in playing off what you're saying here. So you did kind of infer that there might be something supernatural going on. We're not just looking at a product of science here. Perhaps there is something occult or mystic about your origin story.
It could.
New York City is a big place, right? But it's also a very small place. And now you said you don't remember these New York accents, when you have these faint blurbs, these faint memories. Maybe you were brought to New York City after a certain time.
I think so.
Interesting.
Like I said, maybe I was on vacation or business or something. I don't know. I can't remember nothing. It's frustrating, It's frustrating. But I'm looking into something, doing a little investigation into some underground stuff. It might be connected with Professor Hades.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah, of course.
But there might be an underground group in New York. And they could be like a sort of Illuminati shadow type organization. They might have something to do with it. The Dark Avenger and I are looking into that. But we don't got nothing to prove nothing so far. It's just a hunch.
Now, would you act on this alone? Say you do have some intelligence. Does it ever occur to you, or do you ever feel like I should call upon, like, do you have friends besides him that you would also call superheroes? I mean, we've seen you take on some crime on the street in the news and things like that, where other heroes have swooped in and helped. But are you acquaintances with them? Are you a member of any organization? We don't actually have that information.
So I'm more of an independent guy.
Right.
I'm an independent guy for now. I don't feel comfortable joining any organizations. Like the Omega Men have reached out to me a couple of times. I've teamed up with them, but they're a bit too far away. They're too outside the city for my taste.
Okay.
And Dark Avenger, he don't want to work with nobody, so he maybe have an influence on me. He might have an influence there. And there's also, for example, Team Platinum. They also reached out. I've teamed up with them a couple of times, but never officially joined them. I'm more of Platinum. Yeah, they're pretty cool. But I like it the way it is. You know, I occasionally, you know, we talk sometimes, and I'm also pen pals with a maze girl, but she's all the way on the other side of the world. We correspond sometimes, but
Have you ever done one of her world famous mazes?
not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah. I really like that she can just look into the crevices of your mind and create a maze for you. Man, what if you as a rat went through one of those mazes?
Yeah, that would be quite on the nose, huh? And she puts a block of cheese somewhere in there.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, we're just going to cut to a quick commercial from our superpowered sponsors. Again, you are listening to Meet Your Heroes on the SuperFluous News Network. Thank you very much. We'll be right back after these messages.
Psst. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Are you the kind of soup who prefers to use tools and gadgets over those overrated superpowers? Do you prefer grappling hooks to flight, or do you rather glide around with a set of wings? Perhaps you like to use a cool vehicle, maybe some night vision or infrared goggles, but it just needs a bit of an oomph? Is your technology just lacking? Well, I can hook you up. Hi, my name is Shadow Techie, and in my store, we will serve anybody. It doesn't matter what side of the law you're on. I can hook you up nice and give you a really good upgrade. And we'll do it cheaply, safely, and most importantly, quietly. So if you're in the market for some legally ambiguous augmentation, remember the name ShadowTechie.com, where my superpower is discretion.
You hear that? That's the recognizable sound of a lighter lighting up a cigarette. But these just aren't any ordinary cigarettes, folks. These are super cigs. That's right, you need to show superhero ID in order to get these cigarettes at your local Spady, because they are not approved by the FDA for non-superhero blood. They will fuck you up. This is the best shit ever, man. But again, I know some of you soups got normal friends and you want to share your drugs with them. These are not for them. They will kill them and you will legally be held liable for killing them, for letting them smoke your superhero lace stuff made from a special ingredient in Hades laboratory. These are amazing super cigarettes. You'll never smoke normal tobacco again. Super geil. Super Zigaretten. Man, I'm really sorry about all these flies. You know, we do record this in Germany, and they have this culture called Luften, you know, where they just love keeping their windows open. There's nothing I could really do about it. You know, I'm a little concerned about, hey, have you ever met Flyman?
Not personally. I've heard of him, though.
You know, he has a similar power to you where he can inhabit a fly. I wonder if he ever feels like, if he's ever been swatted by a human before while he's inhabiting a fly. You know?
That would be something. I guess he must eavesdrop a lot, like a fly on the wall, you know? Pardon me, excuse me for knocking that can of sanitizer over. I was trying to hit that fly.
Well, you almost got him. You almost got him.
I know.
If you were a rat at the time, you might have done it more precise. You know what I mean?
Indeed, if I was a rat, I would have just gone
I have to...
and just knock up on the sucker.
What? That was very realistic, and I guess that makes sense because you literally are a giant rat, so that does make sense.
I am a giant humanoid 6'3" rat.
I must say, rats usually smell like shit, but you do not. You actually smell fantastic.
Thank you. I was it was recommended by your agents and your backstage people that I bathe rigorously.
That was the other billboard I saw you on for your perfume line, Rat Fume.
That's right.
That's good stuff.
Brings out the animal in you.
Yeah, see, you wouldn't expect people to want to buy a perfume that, you know, is literally named after a rat. But because it's a celebrity, so to speak, people are eating it up. I saw it at Macy's, and it wasn't in the discount aisle.
Well, you know, I appreciate the people of New York, despite everything. I guess they were they accepted me pretty quick. I mean, I get the occasional, skeptic thinking I'm some kind of animal and I'm like some kind of menace not to be trusted. But a lot of the new locals, they're very grounded folks. They're pretty nice. I guess they're so used to seeing freaks in capes all punching each other than some guy some rat man with a prehensile tail walking around. Don't do nothing to stir him, considering that the world has survived about 5 apocalypses in the past 3 years. I guess ain't nothing.
Excuse me, my emergency phone is calling. Hello? What? Are you serious? I thought you said this wouldn't happen. What? Oh my God. Okay. All right. Well,
Something wrong?
well, they're gonna allow it, because this is a live taping, but we are no longer allowed to make any reference to the Hades Corporation while you were here. Turns out they actually own a lot of stock in the SuperFluous News Network, which is news to me. I'm sorry, this is probably pretty uncomfortable to you. It is kind of ironic that a lot of the supervillains are the ones, with shares in these companies these days instead of the superheroes.
That's how they get you.
That is how they get us, yeah.
That's how they get you. A little bit of a subtle hostile takeover.
Yeah, okay then. Come to think of it, I think one of our sponsors is actually a Hades drug company affiliate, so then that is messed up.
Well, okay then. We don't have to mention my foes too much in the name of your own precious sponsorship, but we'll talk about this when the recording's stopped.
Yeah, it's the balance, we want to talk about your life, but also, man, you should really try to kill that fly. Yeah, go for it. Use your rat tail.
Oh, I'm gonna get a shot.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, get a snap. Use that rat
In an
tail.
awkward position. It's like he knows.
It's on your coffee cup, damn it.
It's on my coffee cup.
Yeah, I wonder how a rat reacts to coffee. You must really like it.
Same way a human does, but rat-like.
Like the cocaine experiments.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, get him. Kill that motherfucker.
He got away. He's
Yeah,
too
I'm sorry.
fast, and now he's buzzing around the mic. You got a real fly you got a fly. Yes, I know. But hey, it's a living creature. What can I do, huh? What can I do?
Well, who knows?
Yes. But yeah, I never met Flyman personally, but I heard he's a big thing up there. I heard his celebrity status is doing pretty good. He's flying high. But but anyway, you got more questions? You got more questions for me? But because I got something to say. It's a real shame about the whole stock thing, but I understand it's your network, and this is the first network, and this is the first superhero network out there. So I don't want to jeopardize. Dark Avenger told me I was being a sellout by coming here, but I think it's important I think my message has been made clear. Maybe people will be more aware.
Well, I think we proved that journalism is actually more important now than ever. So I appreciate you having, the time to come and talk to us.
Oh, that's good. I make my own hours. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna put my consciousness in a rat nearby because I think something's going on. Give me Just give me 1 second.
Oh, awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, his eyes are fluttering like crazy. His tongue is stuck to the roof of his mouth. His teeth are chattering.
Okay, false alarm. The rats. Okay, false alarm. I projected my consciousness to a rat about 17 floors down. And it's fine. It's Gator Man in a fight underground with Disciplinarian.
Disciplinarian?
Yeah, they're fighting down in the sewers right now. I just had a quick look, but don't worry, Disciplinarian's got it covered.
Now, I know you personally don't spend a lot of time in the sewers because you don't smell like shit. But
I do. I just dressed. Oh, I do. I'm gonna correct you right there. I spend the majority of my time in the sewers.
Really?
It took about 3 days to scrub me clean of the smell so I could be presentable in front of you.
I really appreciate you doing that for us. Not that I wouldn't have welcomed you anyway, I mean, for me, the reason me and Dallas Darling do this is because we really appreciate you guys. You're only about 3% of the population, Soups. So we really try to just get to know you as human beings, if I may. How do you feel about being called a human being? Are you not a human being?
I don't know. I don't know what I am. I think I'm somewhere in between. I think I identify as a little bit human because because I can talk and I can walk and I'm sentient, but there are plenty of other sentient non-humans here. You know, we've got Venus Manhunter over here.
Mm-hmm.
We got Venus Manhunter over here. We got the Mercurian. So we've got people on this planet from outside the world who are not human at all. We've got Minotaur Man. There's Minotaur Man. There's the Satyr Squad. They're not human. Me? Do I identify as human? I don't know. I think I'm something else. Maybe I'm somewhere in between. Like I said, I think in my previous life I was human. I guess I'm just superhuman now.
I really am going to reiterate that I am happy that you have. I know this is going to sound messed up, sir, but I am happy that you have amnesia, because I must say part of the reason that Dallas and I wanted to start this is to really humanize you guys, because there are so many people out there that really just can't put themselves in your shoes. They are intimidated and frightened by the reality of you existing now. But anyway, we're not really here to talk about the general nature of superhero-dom within the world. I'm more interested about your place in it, and that's actually what's so special to me. Because of this amnesia, you really do have a almost innocent view of it. And I mean that with all due respect, the most respect out there, because new children coming into this world too, even ones who develop powers early or later on in life, they have this innocence, and then us as the adults that live through the post-nuclear superhero boom kind of rob them of that innocence. They're not able to discover the world of superhero-dom for themselves. Even though it's only 3% of the population, it really is spread out quite evenly amongst all the countries. Do you find yourself fighting international crime? You really stay within New York City?
So far, I just stay with New York City.
Interesting.
I did a brief stint, like I said. Excuse me. I hit a piece of metal.
You killed a fly, so I appreciate it. Look at that. Yeah.
Almost tried to kill another.
Got another.
They're everywhere. No, excuse me. My tail hit the leg over there because there's no hole in the back of your seat. You got to make your seats tail friendly. Anyway, what was I saying? Right. When I teamed up with Team Platinum, or was it Platinum Squad? Who knows?
There is a Platinum Squad in the Middle East, and then there's a Team Platinum over in New York.
It's Team Platinum, the New York ones. We had a brief stint overseas. Had to go to Mexico. There was a bit of an international incident there, but it's classified. I signed an NDA. Me, a rat monster with an NDA. But no, out of respect, I can't really say much. But I mostly stay in New York, in my neighborhood.
Yeah,
I don't really have the means of traversal. I could rat hop. I tried doing that once, but I was stretched thin. Believe it or not, rats are not everywhere, but they're almost everywhere.
Wow, okay. So you can hop your consciousness in between rats throughout the planet, but it does strain you if you get further away from your actual body?
It does. It gets harder and harder. We did an experiment once with what was his name?
Dr. Octagonopus.
No, it wasn't.
Not him?
No. It was Dr. Pentagonopus.
Fucking Pentagon.
Dr. Pentagonopus.
Okay.
Yeah. The one with the 5 tentacles.
Yeah, he's not...
We did an experiment where we got a bunch of rats in cages and we spread them out 500 feet apart. We got several of them and we did it over a very long distance. I could make it about, I think, 10 miles away from my body before it started to really get strenuous.
And what does that strenuousness feel like to you?
It's like lucid dreaming again, but this time you're really holding it together. It's like carrying something heavy, or it's like just tensing up your brain until your blood vessels pop. It was hard. Lifting weights until failure kind of hard, or like really tensing up, or I don't know, man. It could have been like what it feels like to give birth, really pushing. It was a lot. It was a lot, like a very strenuous exercise, anaerobic shit.
Now, you did mention quite in the beginning that sometimes you do get kind of these recalls, these memory recalls. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, that, Total Recall?
I've heard of it, but I don't know much about movies. Maybe I used to watch them, but I don't think I've seen a single. I haven't seen a single movie in this new life.
Do you have a Netflix subscription down in the sewers?
Not really. I don't really watch television.
Do you have an internet network connection?
I do.
You do?
I sometimes, yeah.
What does your search history look like, if you don't mind me asking?
Crime, rat husbandry, engineering,
What kind of engineering?
structural engineering, building a lair and that kind of stuff.
Oh.
So I don't know anything about this. I know of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've heard about him, but I don't see any movies. What, this thing about Total Recall?
Yeah, Total Recall, essentially he starts to remember what his actual life was after they put false memories in his head.
Oh, wow.
You know,
I have a feeling that this secret organization I told you about earlier, they might got some. They might got something to do about it.
Yeah, the corporation that is no longer to be named. If I am to keep
I don't
my
think
job.
it's anything to do with them.
No?
Maybe there's a connection. I don't know. But I think it goes deeper than that.
Hey, for me to get a phone call like that, like my producer's a pretty nice guy, but he sounded scared on the phone. He was like, "Hey man, I just got a call from an ominous, dark, modulated voice that didn't sound like a human." And he just said, "Hey, you better shut Whitaker Witheredspoon up, because if you don't, we're going to shut him up." And I was like, "Okay, well, I just pooped a little bit, but I'll make sure that we don't mention that, a company that starts with the same letter that you use to make the word hex."
I understand completely. So, yeah, we'll never speak of this again.
Wink, 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 wink. On camera, if you will. We will never speak it out again.
On recording, for sure.
Yes.
But listen to me. I'm just putting this out there, okay? I understand. We don't gotta know. We don't gotta speak. There's more to it than that. Is there anything else about me you want to know?
Well, is there anything you'd like to share? I mean, I'm very intrigued by, we can kind of move away from your inception, your backstory a little bit. I kind of want to talk about your day-to-day. Do you have a morning routine like most humans do?
Okay, so the routine. I sleep like everybody else. I wake up, I do a bit of a stretch. I eat, then I go down to the local homeless shelter and I eat. I walk amongst the homeless. They're fine with me. They understand me. I'm sort of like a guardian to them. I talk to them. I ask them if they heard anything. I usually wake up around late in the day. I don't really have a morning routine. I'm more of a nocturnal kind of guy. I ask them if they heard anything. I get a bit of word on the street kind of deal. I got a couple of informants as well.
Informants? Are they rat informants or human informants?
Well, I got most of the rat informants, but I also got my, other human helpers as well. They fill me in on any rumors or goings on. I trust them, I won't name any of them, of course. They're good people, they're very off the grid. These are people who, unfortunately, they lost their homes a long time ago. The rent was too high or something like that. They got stranded in New York City. They fell into a hole and they're trapped. So we're friends. We're like a little bit of a family. But my routine, I do that. Then I go on patrol after I eat. I see if I have heard any messages from the Dark Avenger. We go weeks at a time without communication. So I don't know. I haven't heard from him in about 3 weeks now, aside from him telling me not to come on here. Sorry, Dark Avenger. I know you don't listen to this stuff, but sorry. Then I go out on patrol. If there's any crime, I try to stop it. If not, I try to gather information and I do a bit of covert surveillance. And I do what I can. Then I go, I stop for a meal.
What's your favorite place to stop at for a quick bite?
Oh, good question. Well,
New York City just has all the options in the world.
Yeah, you would be surprised. Well, I like to usually go to behind fancy restaurants. You'd be surprised what people just throw away. It's real high standard uptown gourmet stuff. And the higher class, they just throw it, they don't finish it. It's just for the clout. They probably just take a picture of it and they put it away and they just throw it away. So I get a lot there. I bring some of it back home to the homeless, my family. More patrols. There's always something going on in New York City. Like, very rarely won't I stop a mugging or a drug deal or something like that.
Does it feel like New York City was your home? I mean, I feel like that's something instinctual they cannot take away from you, even if you were an experiment, even if you were somebody else. Like, home must feel like home. There's this saying, I mean, we are in Germany, there's this saying called Heimat, which is essentially like the feeling of home. Not exactly home itself, like physically where you live, but the feeling of home. And because you have a need to protect it, I'm feeling like you might have some high mat for New York City.
I feel like it is. I feel like that's the case. You described it perfectly. I don't know if New York is where I originally came from. I don't think it is. But it is like an adoptive home. There's no nostalgia involved with it, but there's not much history. But it feels like I belong here, like I was meant to be here for some reason. I don't know why.
Do you feel do you always kind of have this, you kind of remind me of the relationship in the X-Men comics of Jean Grey and Scott Summers, kind of the psychological relationship they have where they intuitively talk to each other, even when they're not in the same room or even the same country. Do you feel this with the rats? Do you have a special connection to them in that way?
Of course I do. Sometimes I talk to them, and I got a few favorites. Some rats are smarter than others.
Can you talk about one favorite in particular before we close out?
Yeah, for sure. There's one rat. His name is Rodney. He's an old one.
They have names.
Oh yeah, they all got names.
Wow.
But Rodney, he's a special one. You know, he's missing an ear, and so I rescued him from a stray cat. And I adopted him as a sort of personal pet. He's quite old. You know, he's a mangy one, but I talk to him and he gives me some comfort. Again, he's one of the smartest rats. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. It's like the rats provide something that humans just cannot.
Sometimes they do. They're simple. It's simpler with them, you know? It's simpler. I like talking to humans sometimes, from all walks of life, all classes. You know, there's the homeless, then there's the people in the neighborhood. And other people, and I have some connection, and I think I've interacted with some higher class folks as well, or at least people who are educated. But the rats, it's simple, it's like a nice, comfortable, I don't want to say, it's like what you would call pets, but for me, they're not pets, They're like cousins.
Final question for you, because when I told my kid who I was interviewing, this was his question, which I thought was really cute. Please don't get offended. Do you like the movie Ratatouille?
I haven't seen any movies, but I've heard of Ratatouille.
Yeah.
I've seen clips. I think I am like the rat who controls the chef, and the chef are the other rats.
Exactly.
I haven't seen it, but people have been telling me I should watch it. Maybe I will. It's the only movie about rats that I can that I've really heard of.
If that's the first and only movie you ever watch, it would be a good choice.
Okay, yeah, I heard it's about, I like food, so why not?
Yes, but we strictly have a no French policy here, so just be careful about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Different kinds. Okay, sure.
Yeah. Never surrender, you know what I mean?
If that was your last question, I got my last statement, okay?
Sure.
I do encourage kindness to each other. It's super cliche, super...
Except for the French.
Super cheesy.
Yes.
Get it? No, but I do encourage kindness to each other. The French, I know, they got their cheeses, I heard. So maybe...
That is fair. That's fair.
I do encourage kindness and tolerance to each other, because you never know how much you depend on each other. You never know.
Well, sir, I am going to provide you and your entire covenant in the underground with some rat-friendly cheese that will not have traps in it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, well, thank you for tuning in to the SuperFluous News Network. This has been Meet Your Heroes. Next time, my co-host and I will be interviewing somebody very special together, and we look forward to that. I am Whitaker. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a pleasant good evening and good night.
Thanks for having me on, Whitaker. It was a real pleasure. I'll go back to patrolling the sewers now. It was nice to be up here under the lights and everything. And bye, everybody, and take care of yourselves. You've been listening to Meet Your Heroes, a SuperFluous News podcast. This was episode 2, Rat King. Starring David Muscat as Rat King and Michael Paola as Whitaker Witheredspoon. Additional voices by David Muscat and Michael Paola. Improvised and co-produced by David Muscat and Michael Paola. Intro and outro theme composed by Tears in Sadness. And I am your director, editor, sound designer, and announcer, David Muscat. This podcast is a Superfluous Media production, originally hosted and broadcast by Etiquette Radio Berlin in 2024. All license inquiries can be directed to Etiquette Radio at etiquette-radio.com. Join us next time on Meet Your Heroes, a Superfluous News podcast. Thanks for listening.